You are watching Mid-American Conference Football on ESPN, where we welcome you on a beautiful fall afternoon to Dick's Stadium on the campus of Kent State University, where it is homecoming and two teams trying to cook up something they haven't done a lot of in recent program history, and that is a conference victory. We are so happy. We're thrilled to have you joining us for the next 3+ hours. Anthony Lima joined alongside my bell cow back. That's what I call him, Doc Holliday. And on a day like today, I know 3 hours from now, one of these teams is going to be feeling a lot better about the trajectory of their program.
But indeed, but for Kent State, it's eats and beats. It is homecoming. You want to eat a little barbecue, but you also want to put a beat down on UMass. But if you're UMass and Coach Harris Simiak, he's like, no, we're not trying to take an L today, my guy.
Now, these guys, I think they're still trying to figure out who's going to play quarterback. Now, we did get some news moments ago because both these programs have been trying to sort through their signal caller all season long.
They have been, especially UMass, and we just getting the last word that A.J. Harrison is getting the start for UMass today. And good news if you're a Kent State Golden Flash, my man, D.D. Drew DeShields set out last week against Oklahoma because of hamstring, but he is starting tonight, and we know how dangerous Mr. Drew DeShields can be, so we know how happy Kent State is about that.
Yeah, he got a chance to test out that hamstring in pregame, and they were very excited about getting him back on the field after he was out of action. He was a scratch last week at Oklahoma. Meanwhile, Kent State won the coin toss, and they will opt to take the football first. They were feeling good about their preparation this week. They had a slugfest earlier in the season before their non-conference gnarly scheduling. They went toe-to-toe with Buffalo, what was a great game. They showed that they belong, on this scale. Meanwhile, for UMass all week, they're just trying to get their bearings down in this brand new renovation project.
And the thing about it, they have to get their bearings down right now, because when this ball kicks off, Kent State couldn't care less about the problems UMass is having, and UMass couldn't care less about the problems Kent State is having. But as we said, it is homecoming for Kent State. They're glad to be home, hoping to recover off of how they played last week, and now a huge MAC game here today.
All right, here we go. Kickoff from Marcus Lai. He sends that football end over end into the air, and it is retrieved. Here come the Golden Flashes and a nice burst. This is going to be how you want to start a football game. Unbelievable return. It's a touchdown for the Golden Flashes right out of the chute. Unbelievable speed by Dorelis Clark, the fastest man in the building today.
Now, Anthony, we talk about homecoming. What better way to start homecoming by going home to the house? You see Clark receives it. Look at the blocking, great blocking. One cut, little stutter step with the Sammy Davis, then I'm up out of here. 55 miles per hour, but in this case, it's 30 miles per hour. That 30 miles per hour from number 30 is good enough to take the opening kick back to the crib, man. This is where you start a ball game, AL.
91 yards to the house. Sending this place into a frenzy as they made their way over from the parking lot.
But this is why you have athletes like Clark back returning kickoffs. You see the patience. He receives the ball, lines up his blocker, see which way he wants to go, finds a hole. Then I just love the quick feet and the shifty feet to see the outside, makes a nice little cut, and then it's just all speed after that. No one to beat but the kicker, and you cannot let the kicker tackle you, because once you get back into the locker room or even on the bench, they're going to give it to you. They're not giving it to Clark. All Clark did was give UMass some sad faces.
Already had one return earlier this year. Their opener against Merrimack, he went 100 yards, and they found another big-time special teams moment. Dorelis Clark, already one of the great names in all of college football. He does it again, and you can imagine he is making a name for himself the early part of this college football season.
Well, Dorelis Clark, his initials DC, so to that he's a DC marvel, because that was a marvelous kickoff return to start today.
All right, no such return on the other end, as Kent State certainly did not want to go tit for tat. So we will welcome on in A.J. Hairston at quarterback for UMass, a troubled offense that is just trying to find some consistency at the quarterback position.
Yeah, and as we said, we talking to Coach Harasimiak, and he's said he wants one of these quarterbacks to come in and take this job. None of them has really had a good season so far, but A.J. Harrison, we looking at his numbers, 29 of 61, just 290 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Hasn't played well, but he played well enough this week to get the starting nod today.
Early carry up the middle, and a quick defensive stop for the Golden Flashes. Samaj Cross coming in to help make the play. Sets up 2nd and 10. And now UMass going empty. Jawan Price will redirect, and then in motion quickly Donnie Gray finds a bit of a move, gets about 7 yards to set up 3rd and manageable.
And I do love that rocket sweep. When you have a player like Gray who can do some things in space, that's exactly what they did. Bring him across the formation, give it to him on a quick little rocket sweep, and nice little cut to pick up some positive yards. But if I wanted to see Gray just hit that just a little bit quicker with a little bit more explosiveness, because the hole was there, but nevertheless he still gets his team a 3rd and short.
So trying to answer after they looked a little shell-shocked early on following the special teams play. UMass in need of a conversion. Reese Atkins, a tight end, in motion. And that play is absolutely swallowed up behind the line of scrimmage. Mason Woods was right there on 3rd down.
When you talk about physicality, say when you 3rd and short and you know a team wants to run the rock, you know 9 times out of 10 they're going to try to run the rock. So you want to win the battle in the trenches, and Mason Woods won that battle. That Kent State defensive line won that battle, and Mason Woods lays the trees on the ball carry.
And a nice start already. Special teams coming in big. Defense as well. That's part of the formula for Kent State to get a victory this week. That ball will be down at about the 22-yard line, but Kent State feeling pretty good about things here on homecoming, as they got a house call right off the bat from Dorelis Clark and an early 7-0 edge. Welcome back. Kent State early 7-0 edge where their offense will touch the football for the very first time. Always nice when you can go out there with a lead when you make your return to the football field. That's exactly the situation for Drew DeShields, who tested out the hammy in pregame, and he's back.
And the last time we saw him against Buffalo, absolutely balled out. You see the graphics that the production team made, 22 of 32, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Now, for people saying that Coach Carney sat him out last week because of this game, Coach Carney was like, nonsense. He said Drew DeShields would literally fist fight me if I tried to take him off the football field. Man, it's just with those hamstrings, man, they can be extremely tricky. I used to have one, so I totally understand. Hamstring injury. I still got hamstrings.
You still got the hamstrings.
Yeah, I still got 2 hamstrings. I'm just saying.
Out of the pistol. Inside handoff. Second effort, but not much doing there as the defensive line staying stout for UMass on first down.
Well, that's Jordan Newman. He's back. You know, coaches are extremely excited about getting him back. Their running back duo with him and Gavin Garcia. So I expect us to see a lot of Jordan Newman. You look at him, 5'11", 215 pounds, and he's one of those what you call a thumper. He likes to thump it off tackle or either through that A-gap and be real physical when he gets it.
Well, certainly has the look, and that's why interim head coach Carney has wanted him back in a big way. Throwing down the sidelines, coming over to bat it down. Nice defensive play out of the secondary for Zeron Daniel, making sure that ball did not get to the intended target.
You play safety for a reason. You see DeShields trying to go downfield, and 3-8 is just roaming back there. That's his job. Don't let anything get behind him. And if anything is in front of him and he has enough speed and quickness to go over and get it and read it, that's exactly what he did. And nice little breakup.
3rd and 7 for DeShields, all by himself. Looking over the middle of the field. And going back to make the grab is Deshaun Martin, but the throw was a little behind him and no chance to get many yards after the catch on 3rd.
And that's exactly what he was trying to do, trying to give it to his receiver. It was a quick slant, but it ended up being a shallow dig. You give it to him, but you give it to him short of the line of the game, but you're hoping that he's able to break a tackle and get the first down. But UMass doing a great job of playing defense right there and getting him on the ground and forcing Kent State to punt.
Charlie Durkin has taken over the punting duties ever since the Texas Tech game. That one has a chance to be returned, and it is, but great coverage as Kent State all over that one. They have looked pretty good on special teams in the early going. And now for the Minutemen, this has kind of been their situation throughout the year. They have given all 3 quarterbacks a crack at it, and so far, and Coach told us this week, nobody has seized control of that job.
They haven't, man. And, you know, it's kind of strange. You have 3 quarterbacks. You're hoping for somebody to step up so they can take control of this offense. A.J. Harrison has gotten a chance. Brandon Rose has gotten a chance. All these quarterbacks have gotten a chance, but now A.J. can seize this job today with a good performance.
Stumbling out of the handoff, Jawan Price. Not much there.
It's going to be tough. I like UMass because they do want to establish the run just like Kent State. So that means they have a physical mindset. They want to control the line of scrimmage. They want to win in the trenches. So that's what the battle is going to be. It's going to be that front four, and it's going to be that offensive line, and I'm looking forward to it. And Jawan Price, you can look at 9 carries, 62 yards, but I like that 7 yards to carry average.
Direct snap. Brandon Rose came in, but Kent State's defense not fooled at all. But we did anticipate seeing all of these quarterbacks today, maybe in some capacity.
We did, and Brandon Rose, quarterback keeper. I like to call it a quarterback sweep, but just too much speed on the perimeter for that Kent State defense, and just not much room for Rose to get anything going.
Yeah, Jelani Davis all over it. A.J. Hairston here. An opportunity on 3rd and 9. Kent State sending 4. That throw down to the sidelines. And that is Jack McConaughey. And a very calm third down throw and catch.
And I love that A.J. Harrison looking extremely impressive on that third down, standing back there in the gun, throws the out route, just a beautiful ball. And look at the receiver able to get his foot down inbounds. That is a very positive play, and I'm pretty sure that's something that UMass loves to see.
Hairston flushed out to the right, and pass is caught. That time it's Kenyon Massey on the reception.
And once again, you got two positive plays in a row. UMass comes out with a little misdirection. Then you got two floods to the flat. You can get the underneath guy or the over the top guy. A.J. Harrison chooses to get the underneath guy. Great yardage and gain on first down.
Brandon Hood in at tailback now for UMass. At midfield, Hairston trying to step up, but is thrown down. Big time sack, Jamon Mathis.
That's what happens when you have athletes. When you watch Mathis, he's sitting there working on the – look at him. You get the slug block from the tight end. He just sheds him, and then it's one-on-one with the tackle, and you don't stand a chance. It's what Mathis tells him. He tells A.J. Harrison, I need you to sit down for a minute, my guy, and take this loss.
Yet another third down and long. Kent State coming. That pass incomplete. Nobody home. It looked like McConaughey was in the neighborhood, but the pressure got dialed up. Kent State loving the third and long situations for the pass rush.
McConaughey, he was in the neighborhood, but Kent State defenders and the DB was in the neighborhood as well. A.J. Harrison can't make the completion, and Kent State, after giving up a couple of positive plays for UMass, forcing UMass to punt this football back to, we know, a very dangerous special teams unit that Kent State has.
Rugby style punt to the left side, retrieved by Harris. And he breaks one tackle, and he is piled up at about the 15-yard line. Good coverage that time for UMass on special teams, but we'll see the Golden Flashes offense for the second time right after this. Head coach at Kent State, interim head coach Mark Carney, who has had to put together an operation very quickly. He was on the prior staff, and there was a shakeup very late in the process, leaving that man Carney to quickly assemble a staff. In fact, his DC was hired about a month before the season started, so that shows you what kind of, frenetic pace this whole thing was built with.
Well, but Coach Carney, even with he's trying to implement his attitude and how he wants his team to play, man, needs to put all three phases together. He just wants them to do their job, play 11 as one, and finish the fight. And right now, they're coming out with a nice fight so far against UMass. That's just the mentality that Carney is trying to implement here for this squad.
Here's Newman. Not much room to run whatsoever, and he is brought down.
And I love what Kent State is doing. When you have a running back like Newman and now you get Gavin Garcia in there, you want to stay true to the running game and let them get a feel for the game and continue to run that rock and trying to wear this UMass defense down.
Patient run this time, getting around the edge, at least attempting to Gavin Garcia before he is finally shut off near the sidelines.
That's what I say. Run the rock. You got Jordan Newman who comes in there. He wants to thud you. Then you bring Gavin Garcia in there. He wants to spud you, as in Spud Webb. He's kind of small, but he's also quick. He's an extremely tough runner. Now, don't look at the yards per average. It's just 2.93 yards, but he runs so tough, and he's hard to bring down, and he doesn't die easily at all.
5'7", Gavin Garcia. As coach said, plays taller. Third down. Nice opening up the middle. And taking advantage is Jordan Newman, a rugged first down.
And that's what you want to do. See, offensive linemen love when running backs do what Jordan Newman just did because it's great blocking for the offensive line. And watch this hole just open up. He takes the draw play, and look how big that hole is. And Newman goes north and south.
And now getting the extra effort from the O-line. They don't just do the tush push at the one. They'll try to push him through about 5 yards down the field, but a nice pickup on first down.
I love the fact that they do the tush push, they do the mush push, and they do the push push because Newman coming out there able to do the push push and pick up 5 yards. So now you got a second and a 5.
You got to let it play it out. Offensive line was hungry there.
Indeed.
2nd and 5 out of the pistol. Garcia up the middle. Wrapped up at the 40. 20-yard gain keeps the sticks moving.
Now we can see why Coach Carney was so, and Clay Patterson, offensive coordinator, was so excited and so happy to get this 1-2 running back duo with Jordan Newman and Gavin Garcia. Now you see what they can bring to the table. Newman, great run, and Gavin Garcia right there showing some great vision and some great balance as we watch Henry on the ground. Hopefully he's okay as he gets tended to.
Trainers taking a look at Rashad Henry, but right now UMass in a tough spot. They're trailing after the early special teams blockbuster return by Darius Clark. And now Kent State is on the move, putting together an feeling as good as they felt in a long time. Up 2 scores here against UMass. Stick around. Much more football coming up. Sebastian Brown puts the Golden Flashes up 14 here at home against UMass. A sensational start.
And when you're in a situation like this, see, you get caught peeking. Look at everybody peeking because they've run the ball so well. So when you get caught peeking, look at Sebastian Brown. He just slides out. You get caught peeking and you get popped right in the middle of the field, right down the hash. Easy touchdown. But when you see Gavin Garcia, 2 carries, 30 yards on their drive, Jordan Newman, 3 carries, 18 yards. So you leave Sebastian Brown all by himself because you still think they're running their rock. No, we passing their rock. We getting 6 on you. That's exactly what Kent State just did.
All right, there was a fair catch signal. And then Samuel Badu ran it out anyway.
I've seen that happen several times this season when somebody else.
Therefore, the ball becomes dead at the spot. First down.
That's the head referee, Rick Warren. First time we've heard from him so far today. That's always a good sign.
It is. But, you know, I've seen several games where they give these fair catch signals and then they want to return the ball. And no, after you signal fair catch, you got to stop it, and it has to be spotted right there. I think that's something a lot of coaches probably need to continue to emphasize with their team.
So 2 monumental special teams gaffes really puts UMass in the hole early.
Yeah, in games like this, especially when you're playing on the road, you want to stay in the game mentally. You got another injury down there, big dog too.
Yeah, one of the offensive linemen, that's Sullivan Weedman, the redshirt junior out of Franklin, Mass, the West Virginia transfer, 6'5", 318, and he is in some pain right now. This has been a rough first quarter for UMass thus far today. They're just trying to find something to get the offense cooking. And I asked the coach this week, you know, how are you divvying up the reps? 3 quarterbacks. That's tough at this stage of the season. Last week, Brandon Rose got benched that game against Western Michigan. And so they're still trying to find themselves, find an identity, and it all starts tough to do that without a quarterback.
And you know, you asked a great question because it is tough when you're trying to figure out who's going to be your quarterback and you're trying to choose between 3 different quarterbacks. So getting the reps during practice and even in film room and in film study, who's taking the lead, who are you talking to, who's pointing out, who's discussing what with whom, because each one of them have different capabilities and personality. So it is tough when you're trying to figure out who the QB is going to be. You haven't figured that out yet, but hopefully A.J. Harrison was deemed the starting quarterback a couple of days ago. They just didn't say that, so he can get some chemistry with his offense.
Just took a look at head coach Joe Harris-Simiak, and it's not just the state of flux at the QB position. I mean, it's roster turnover, and you're seeing that all throughout college football, so no one's going to feel bad for you in 2025, but especially this situation where the program ends up moving on from a legendary head coach. He knew it would be a tall order. 52% of the roster playing for the very first time this season. 50 new players, 96 on the roster. I mean, that's tough to find some semblance of cohesion.
And it is tough, man. It's tough when you, like you say, you're replacing a legendary coach, so you have that kind of pressure on you. But then you got players coming in and coming out, so it's in flux. So Joe Harris-Simiak doing the best he can to, you know, get his style of play and mentally with his squad and get his identity on this team.
All right, with that, we'll take an injury timeout here at Kent State. You see the emotion in this football game. Sullivan, Weidman needing to get carted off the field, and got a nice ovation from the crowd. Just a brutal spot, the situation for him. And meanwhile, UMass has to go back out there at their own 7-yard line. They'll go under center now. And that handoff going nowhere fast. Kent State just looking faster all around the football field right now as Thomas Aiden came in to make the play.
And Thomas Aiden, he got off on the ball so quick and so explosive and so powerful. He just beat his blocker right away, and he's in the backfield about as soon as the running back got the rock, and he just blew that play up from the beginning.
I don't know how many plays he got dialed up at 3rd and 9, where the QB, if he takes a step back, will be in the end zone. But he is getting everybody lined up, and he'll go from the gun. Needs a good snap. And here come the Golden Flashes, throwing that ball way out of bounds. No chance on 3rd. And right now it has been all Kent State. Special teams, defense, offense.
And we saw that Kent State coming out man free because they brought some pressure and brought a blitz. So you got man to man, and good throw, but just outside the receiver.
I got to make an apology. I lost it in the sun. That was a nails throw on 3rd down over there on the sideline, and now they're going to take a look at it with a booth review.
It was, and just for A.J. Harrison to stand back there like that, because as I said, Kent State brought a blitz. They brought some pressure, so he knew he was going to have man-to-man, but you also have the free safety, man-free. He just lingering out there, but Harrison didn't care about getting popped in the mouth. He let it go. Receiver does a good job of catching it and seeing if he caught it and got his foot down. And looks like from that, I see a little blacky black pop up a little bit. So great camera work. And it.
What do you think? Here we go. This will be our best look possibly.
Got the ball. Toe tap.
Oh,
you
tell me. I say for the effort.
Oh my
gosh,
man! Yeah, that is great. First of all, great camera work, great throw, and great effort on that catch. I'm looking at that right. See, look at the blacky black pop up right there. Oh man, it's so hard to tell. I say a catch. I have to give him a catch because of the effort, and it's so close. But the ruling on the field was incomplete, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know if they have enough to overturn the ruling on the field, but it's extremely close.
All right, here we're going to get the official review.
The ruling on the field is upheld. 4th down.
Just so tough. And Kelly was making the case over there. I got it. I had it. And after the review, it was a valiant effort, but nonetheless, it's going to go as a quick 3 and out.
Great effort. You get an A for effort, but unfortunately, A for efforts, if it's not completed, it doesn't mean anything. It's just good optics. It was good. It looks good. It's going to be good as far as effort when he gets judged on hustle and effort, but unfortunately, not a catch.
All right, nice job by Keegan Andrews to send that ball. It's caught at midfield, and after the catch, a little bit more that time as Wayne Harris. So let's catch you up on where we're at right now, how it's 14-0. Darius Clark sending this place into an absolute frenzy. 91 yards on the opening kickoff. And then the play action, and Sebastian Brown, his first touchdown here with Kent State of his career. They have been clicking on all cylinders.
And when your nickname and motto is the Golden Flashes, it's always good to live up to that name, the Golden Flashes. And we just got 2 flashes of golden on those 2 touchdowns.
All right, nice catch before thrown out at the 31-yard line. Like Wayne Harris was able to sky up to grab that football.
And that's still good with Drew DeShields. He floods and rolls out and able to throw a nice little deep out route to Wayne Harris, who picks up some great yardage.
They go to the quick screen action. Well, you've seen a lot of this playbook emptied out already on the opening possessions.
And you got to love what Kent State is doing. They're trying to continue to put pressure on UMass. They want to keep them off balance and keep them uncomfortable because they know they have them reeling right now. So Kent State coming out here trying to lay a knockout punch.
2nd and 7. They bunch up the formation, still go out of the shotgun. The keeper, Drew DeShields, but nice anticipation. UMass is there in a hurry to limit the damage. Zakudi Ikawangu was there on the stop.
And Drew DeShields, being a running quarterback, mobile quarterback, explosive with his legs, that's one part of his game. And you see there he's feeling comfortable enough, and they're feeling confident enough in his hamstring to even call that play. But take it from me, from somebody who dealt with the pulled hamstring, his hamstring is not 100% because he's still kind of dragging it a little bit.
3rd and 4. Cade Wolford entering the game in the slot. DeShields looking on that side. Instead, he'll step up left side, incomplete to Brown. Little off target on that 3rd down throw. Decision time at 4th and 4.
And it says it all right there, because I think if Drew DeShields was 100% healthy, he would have tucked that ball and took off with it. But right there, he made the decision to stop, try to throw it in with the completion. But now 4th and 4, and it looks like Kent State's going to go for it.
Yeah, no hesitation at all. It'd be a 42-yard field goal. They will line up 3 receivers to the right. Gavin Garcia now split out left. DeShields, pocket collapsing. He rolls out to the right and will throw that ball into the end zone. He had a man streaking late. Wayne Harris had some separation, but it's incomplete.
He had him open, Drew DeShields, but it's obvious that that hamstring is still bothering him. Great coverage by UMass, and look at DeShields. He takes off, can't really run the way he wants to run. It's almost like he was just trying to get the ball out of his hands and couldn't get it to Harris, who had a hole, had a window. If he could have dropped it off to him, he was open, but Drew DeShields just missed him.
So a much needed stop. Man, it was 4th down. You give your wide receiver at least a chance at the football. Who knows? Can't worry about making a mistake there. And that ball deflected. Nice pursuit. And Jamon Mathis able to get his big mitts on that football.
Mathis is almost like Judge Mathis. He's playing so well out here. You come out quick reflex, the Kemba Mutombo block shot. Mathis is doing it all so far this first half.
2nd down. Hairston has to get out of the pocket quickly. He was able to turn the corner, and he took a shot. I saw a towel go about 8 yards down the field.
That's what you call getting somebody undressed. You want to lay the hat, but I'm watching number 52. Look at him. He was just chasing him, but you want to finish the run. He think he's going to finish the run. He does lay the hat on the DB, but if I'm the coach, I'm like, pump your brakes, because he's leading with this right shoulder, which is, he's right-handed. You don't want to see your quarterback throwing that throwing shoulder in there like that.
Next time he sees Mason Woods, you think he just steps out of bounds?
He should.
The 3rd and 5. They fake the sweep, and nice tackle to limit the damage from Brandon Hood.
Love that play design and that play call by UMass. Everybody's going downfield thinking he's going to throw an out route, and you just got your running back just kind of shallow cross, able to pitch it and pop it and pick up the 1st down.
But they did get a conversion, and then they run it again to Hood on 1st down. So able to keep the offense on the field. Kent State sending 4. And that one wayward, and then a little bit of activity after the play right there in the trenches. Officials getting a hold of it. 3rd and 8. You're seeing so much of that type of delivery with young quarterbacks now all over football. I think it's the Mahomes effect, the 3/4 delivery.
It is. Sometimes you can have a good, horrible throw. That was a good, horrible throw, because if that ball was still up, it could have been picked off. So that was actually a good, horrible throw by A.J. Hairston.
3rd and 8. Harrison over the middle has his big target catching that football. And it is McConaughey with a conversion.
And that's what you want to do when a team is playing zone. You got too high with Kent State. You want your tight end to come in, just find some space in the middle of the field, set down, hitch route, hook route. That's exactly what McConaughey, that's what he did. And Harrison found him. Fresh 4.
Allows the Minutemen to breathe just a little bit. They're going back to the air. Hairston left side and nearly picked off. Golden opportunity there for Atiq Muhammad, but he couldn't hold on to that football.
Muhammad, he saw touchdown. He read it perfectly. Watch him. Great defensive play. Break on it, and the ball goes right through his hands. All he saw was fresh grass, fresh turf, fresh points, pick 6, and just couldn't bring it in.
UMass dodging a big-time bullet. At midfield. Throwing again. Batted down. It would have been better off letting it go. Swarming Kent State defense right now. C.J. Young was all over it. What an athletic play.
Look at this play. I'm going to block it. You're going to catch it. I'm going to get you around your waist. You must go down. C.J. Young with an outstanding play, man. Even though Harrison catches his own pass, but C.J. Young did not let any of that fly, man. Just an outstanding play by 1-1-1, which is number 3.
Just a total drive killer. As UMass, a promising drive, but when we come back to start the second quarter, they'll flip fields. They'll be faced with a third. second quarter about to get underway here at Kent State. It's homecoming, and so far the home fans have been absolutely thrilled with what they've seen out of the Golden Flashes. Now, UMass had a promising drive developing, but they lost a bunch after A.J. Hairston caught a deflected ball that he tried to throw, and ended up being a huge sack. And this time he throws it, and it's caught over the middle at the 50. Problem is a flag in the area of holding, but it was a nice delivery that time to Kenyon Massey.
Yeah, it was a great delivery, and A.J. Harrison is able to stand back there because Kent State brought the house. They brought
holding. Offense, number 72. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Third down.
And that's why Kent State just rushed too many bodies, man. And UMass didn't have the bodies to block everybody that came. The Golden Flashes flashed everybody, putting that blitz on A.J. Harrison. So, of course, your offensive lineman, you want to protect your quarterback. You just reach out and grab something. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to grab your jacket like that, but
I got to feel it.
Yeah,
I got to feel it. It's that time of the year. It's
so,
football time. So this was a drive that was all the way at midfield. And now you look, they are back to their 27 and a third and forever.
It's one of those, throw a screen, try to pick up as many yards as you can, man, and punt. Or run it.
He's got some room and got the penalty back and more out to the 39-yard line. We had a late flag. I saw a helmet hit the deck as well. The last thing you want to do if you're Kent State is commit a personal foul and give up a first down. Let's go back down to our head referee, Rick Warren, to sort it all out. This could be a crucial penalty. Kent State was walking off the football field. When you see a helmet get dislodged like that and a flag quickly thereafter.
Yeah, you don't want to give them something, especially when you have them in 3rd and 33. You're about to get the ball back, so you want to stay mentally into the game and focused and stay disciplined. I know Coach Carney wants his team to stay disciplined, so I know he's waiting right there with bated breath to see what this is all about.
Play on both teams. During the play, personal foul, face mask, defense, number 21. After the play, personal foul, offense, number 54. The result of the play will be an automatic first down for the offense.
All right, we'll take a look at it as they got it sorted out. Now there is the personal foul. A little extracurricular towards the end, and just a total unforced error, because even though you had dual penalty situation, UMass gets to keep their drive alive.
And also, man, you know, that's dangerous. You can really, really hurt someone because he pulled his helmet off with some force, and you can see the way his head kind of snapped back. So fortunately, he's okay.
So new set of downs. And a handoff to Hood. And a nice run, 9 yards to the right side before taking a hit.
And Brandon Hood able to find some room on the right side of that UMass offensive line for one of the few times today, and is able to make a nice cut and pick up 8 yards.
Pistol again. Very patient run and a first down. UMass may be finding something on the interior, some lanes to run the football.
And I love that. Hood is back there. You talk about the patience, and I see the feet. I like to call that's a Sammy Davis run, because he was able to get a little tap and get through the hole and pick up a first down.
Hairston has to avoid the rush, and he throws it incomplete, but he was in harm's way as UMass went back to the throwing on first down.
Kent State, they want to blitz UMass. They want to blitz them because they feel like their cornerbacks can do a great job of playing man-to-man if they bring pressure in. When you're able to blitz and your DBs can cover, you can put some pressure on the offense, and that's exactly what Kent State is doing right now.
Kent State linebackers been making a difference early. Hairston with all day steps up in the pocket and finds his man, Max Dowling, the tight end, over the middle of the field.
And right now we can see why Coach Harrisimiak gave A.J. Hairston the starting job today, because he's standing back there. When he's given some time, we've seen him throw some darts and find the right receiver, and he did it right there again down the field, able to find a hole in the space in their zone defense.
All the way down now to the 26. And that time, Kent State was not going to allow the run to get much. And we do have another player on the field with trainers coming on out. So remember, this drive was over. And then we had the face mask, then we had a personal foul, and UMass now has something cooking here in the second quarter. They could use a score. They trail 14-0 here at Dick's Stadium. Stick around, UMass trying to find some points for the first time today. UMass, right now they are surrounding Mao Glynn II, their right guard, the fifth-year senior out of Cincinnati, Ohio, the Cincy transfer. Second guard to have to use the cart already today. Earlier was Sullivan Weidman, and just unfortunate scene in this game with UMass. A promising drive all the way down to the 26-yard line, but unfortunately yet another offensive line injury. And how do you regroup? You're playing a road game as is. You're finding yourself in a hole, and you've had to already deal with that. 2 injuries on the line. That's
the thing about it. You don't have a choice, man. You have to regroup. You have to continue to play. Now, you see the entire team runs out there and says, says what's up to their teammate, because they're as disappointed as he is about being hurt. But when you're an injured player, man, it's good to feel that love and that camaraderie from your teammates. That does help lift up your spirits. But if you're UMass, continue to lift up this momentum that they have going on, you have to just you remember your teammates, and you want to fight and play even harder for them because they've gotten hurt out here on the battlefield.
Well, certainly somebody like the brand new head coach, Joe Harris-Simiak, he's been preaching to these guys all season long. The next man up mentality, but today they've had to do it on a couple of occasions. The throw on 2nd and 10, corralled near the sidelines, and a nice job as they got Tyree Kelly with a catch.
And once again, that's just a very nice throw from A.J. Hairston, man. He has great zip and velocity on the ball. All the receiver did was just run a hitch route, picks up 7 yards.
3rd and manageable. The keeper. And it looks like he had enough to move the chains. So another UMass first down. They needed 2, and he got that and more.
And this UMass offense is catching some rhythm, especially on this drive. But we've seen them have some positive plays during this first half, but this drive looking extremely promising right now. So I'm curious to see if they're going to be able to end this with a field goal or with a touchdown.
Max Dowling, the tight end, subs in. And there's the handoff to the left side. Looks like we got flags on the play.
Legal procedure, Anthony.
As Elijah Faulkner had his first carry.
Receiver coming in motion, man, and turns up the field too early. And
is that a little too Arena League?
yeah, man, it's in CFL. You can't do that.
All right, so you called it. So that'll drop them 5 yards. UMass has had the football the entire quarter so far. It's time. Dowling was in motion. And that one bottled up. Kent State defense was there. C.J. Young among others.
See, C.J. Young is one of those players, if you leave him unblocked, just like they left him unblocked, and I know they left him unblocked because they're running to the opposite side, but he's so quick and he has such great instincts, he's able to make a good play like he just did and drop him for a loss.
2nd and 14. Hairston barking out the orders. And he's got to get out of trouble. Left side tripped up. Young again got him by the shoes.
Young is restless. Right now, Young is extremely restless, man, because he is active. He just makes another great play. Harrison probably looking at, I got all this open space, but Young like, nope, I'm going to shoestring you, my guy.
Hairston on 3rd, directing traffic. Throws it into the end zone. That ball was up for grabs. And that Hail Mary effort for the 21 ends up drifting towards the turf, and it's incomplete. But that time, he gave his guys a chance to make a play.
And that's all you want, especially in a situation like this. It is 3rd down. You don't want to throw an interception because you get a field goal attempt. But A.J. Harrison, as a quarterback, you want to give your receivers and your guys a chance to make a play. He did that. But fortunately for Kent State, they're there, and their defenders are there to knock that ball down.
It'll be 38-yarder on the left hash. It's already connected from 50 this year. And that one is through the uprights. UMass will put 3 on the board. So they salvage a possession that looked like it was destined for 0. Now we got a 14-3 ball game. So UMass gets on the scoreboard. How about your casual 22-play drive?
That's beautiful, man. You know, 22 plays, 54 yards. Now, we talked to Joe Harris-Semiak, and he said he went over every offensive play with the offense earlier this year for about 2.5 hours, pointing everything out and putting that little red pointer and calling people out. Now, if he's able to go back and look at that play, that's just unreal, man. A 22-play drive, 54 yards, but a 22-play drive takes up 7 minutes. That is what you call a big boy drive.
All right, so UMass, you know, there's one thing on the mind of their kickoff unit. Avoid number 30 at all costs. If you're just joining us now, Darelis Clark, you're seeing the camera shot right now, went 91 yards. He already had an 100-yard return to start out the season. So 2 kickoffs that he has made house calls on. And that time they took Clark completely out of the conversation. Problem was all sorts of flags on the onside attempt.
Anthony, trust me, man, if someone names their child the realist, that means they are pretty the realist. So you need to stay away from them. So I don't think the realist will get a chance to be real on the kickoff return no more again tonight.
Offside.
No more again.
Kicking team, number 23, 5-yard penalty. You will re-kick.
Good idea, trying to catch him off guard, but you gotta. I see what he's doing, but you gotta let it go 10 yards, and they just all out of order right there.
All right, we'll see if they have the same idea. Problem is, you saw the type of field position you'd give up, and you'd hate to do that after you just got some confidence with a nice drive with some big third down conversions. The last thing you want to do is give Kent State the ball, you know, at the 40-yard line.
And I love the idea, but they're just offsides, man. You got to be able to execute when you're trying to surprise someone with an onside like they just did.
All right, this one booted into the end zone, so Clark will not get his hands on that football. And everything ends up working out for UMass. So we are keeping an eye on the health of Drew DeShields back in the starting lineup after he missed the away game at Norman against OU a week ago. And we've seen some laboring a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious. And I've dealt with the hamstring, and you see him trying to keep it loose and trying to keep it warm, but he's definitely dragging that right leg right there. And we talked about that play because he missed a wide open receiver, but I guarantee you he was just trying to get that ball out of his hands, man, because he was feeling probably a twinge and a twinge in his hamstring and don't want to injure it any further.
Fake to Garcia. Left side is complete. Out to the 30, Wayne Harris. A little more after the catch. So we'll continue to keep our eyes on Drew DeShields and that hammy, as he really wanted to play last week. And obviously, you go on those big Power 4 road games, great environment. They want to play. They want to do everything they can to suit up.
Yeah, you want to play, man, especially against the big dogs. Don't nobody want to sit out against the big dogs. If you're a big dog, you don't want to sit out. Now, if you ain't no big dog, you might not want to play, but he's a big dog.
All right, the pitch. Trying to catch UMass off guard with a little bit of misdirection. Wayne Harris tried to get to the outside, but UMass did a nice job of containing.
And I love the reverse. You bring Wayne Harris around, you get the offensive lineman to pull out. The offensive lineman actually with a great kick-out block, but things got a little congested and crowded real quick because UMass showing some great team defense to get to Wayne Harris before he was able to get down the field any further than where he was.
Darion Craig did a nice job of making sure the trick play was limited. 3rd and 1, we have whistles. And we're going to get a timeout from UMass. They wanted to make sure.
First charge timeout. 30-second timeout.
So a couple of minutes gone. Already past the 9-minute mark here in the second quarter. And I thought it was a nice response out of UMass. You had a couple guards literally get carted off the field. You had that immediate burst of energy here at Dick's Stadium on homecoming, giving up the 91-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. You're down 2 scores, and they rallied. They stayed with it and got a field goal to make this a football game.
It was, and it goes a long ways for your confidence, especially when you're trying to win the line of scrimmage and you're trying to be physical. We talked about the 22 plays. When somebody put a 22-play drive on you, man, and is able to score, that does something to the mental on both teams.
So 3rd and 1. UMass cheating everybody up towards the line of scrimmage. And there he is, the big man, Jordan Newman. UMass was able to make sure he didn't get loose. It looked like he had a great opportunity.
Exactly. Big dog, just keep coming outside, man. I know, man. Give him that left hand. You see the space? He has the ball in the wrong hand. That's why you should always have the ball in the outside hand so you can use that left hand to stiff arm. But nevertheless, he's able to pick up the first down.
So 1st and 10 to Shields, left side, and a man open. And that football, they are signaling on the UMass sideline that is a no catch for Deshaun Martin. He was open in the flat.
He was open, and I think the Shields just got caught throwing his ball off his back leg and not able to get enough power and enough velocity on it because the receiver was on it, but he just not able to step into the throw. And that's why footwork and technique is extremely important. But also, when you're dealing with an injury in one of your legs, sometimes your base can be off sometimes, and it seemed like his base was off with that throw.
2nd and 10. Martin gets stationed on the left side. Garcia will go towards the middle of the pile and gets out to the 45-yard line.
I really like what I've seen when Kent State has decided to run the football, and I see why these Kent State coaches, Coach Carney and the offensive coordinator Clay Patterson, was just so excited about having Gavin Garcia and getting Jordan Newman, because both of them have done some great things when they had that ball in their hands today, and they're able to do some great things because the offensive line is doing some great things.
3rd carry for Garcia. Newman has 5. 3rd and 5. Martin in motion. Collecting the snap. The Shields contact, and it's incomplete. Late flag. There was a bit of hand fighting. So let's get the call.
Defense, number 1. It's a spot foul and an automatic first down.
Malcolm Green. Well, you can see those guys battling right out of the break.
They are, but Malcolm Green, he really doesn't have anything to say, because he did grab him, hold him, pass interference, all that, and great coverage. He was there, but his hands were places they shouldn't have been when they shouldn't have been. So able to give Kent State a first down on the spot foul.
Newman back in the game, gets a full head of steam, knocking guys over. Productive first down run.
That's what he does. Goes north and south once again. Look at that hole. Nice little draw play. Just slide over. Drew DeShields gives it to him. North and south right away. Gets up the field, some positive yardage. 7 yards, man, and you just can't beat that yard per carry. Jordan Newman doing some great things. Gavin Garcia doing some good things.
Really looking forward to seeing Newman and both of their running backs. Nice job by Garcia. Helped move the chains, but they have kind of waited for this moment, get back into conference play, and have more options at the running back position.
And we talked about Coach. Coach said what he likes about Gavin Garcia, that he is shifty. He shows some shiftiness right there as he, what we call, I like to call, wade through the water. He's able to wade through the defense and find 5 yards and get a first down. That's just great vision and great feet.
So at the 34-yard line. Nice drive now developing. And Garcia staying on his feet. Another first down. Tough run.
Once again, as a running back, that's what you love. He get it. Look at the jump cut. gets through the hole, finishes it off. Another jump cut. Just some great running back play for Garcia, and he comes out, but I guarantee you he wants to stand there because he's feeling it right now. But Jordan Newman is feeling it as well. He gets back in, and hopefully he gets another chance to tote that peel.
All right, so they gave him 9, but a great first down run. And now DeShields rolling to the right, letting things develop into the end zone. A diving grab, touchdown, golden flashes, Deshaun Martin.
So it's 2nd and 1. You've been running the rock extremely well. Everybody's expecting to run. No, Drew DeShields comes out, rolls out, and that is just a perfect pass. He actually throws the receiver, Martin, open. He places it somewhere, and Martin, just great effort, able to dive and get it for a touchdown. That's just a beautiful execution of a play and a beautiful play call.
25 yards on the touchdown. Boy, Kent State opening up the offense this week here against UMass. A welcome sign for the fans here at Dick Stadium. Meanwhile, decision time could be flag on the point after. They'll decline
Offside
it.
with contact. Defense, number 8. That penalty is declined. Try for point.
So no harm done on the jump, but a chance to make it 21-3.
Man, that was a beautiful pass.
Marisco connects on the extra point. So Kent State, they answer. It was a field goal for UMass, but on the other end, it was 7 for the Golden Flashes, laying out to make the grab and a 21-3 lead.
Timeout for media.
Golden Flashes, 3 touchdowns and 1 on special teams, and Drew DeShields with a beautiful scramble and throw for a diving touchdown moments ago from Deshaun Martin. But here's a look. What do you think so far, Doc, coming off the injury and what you've seen so far today?
I just love the way he's toughing it out, and I just love the decisions he's making with the football. We've seen 2 different type of touchdown passes. The first one, Sebastian Brown wide open down the middle of the field on the hash, gives it to him, but right there throws a beautiful ball, and Martin actually threw him open. Martin does a great job of diving for it. So right now, Drew DeSeal's known as a great runner, but it's been his leg it's been his arm when he's chosen to use his arm that's done the most damage.
Meanwhile, UMass successfully pulls off the fair catch that bit him early on, which ended up igniting a very lengthy field goal drive that was assisted with a penalty that gave them a new set of downs. But here they are, the toughest spot they've been in today, with the 21-3 margin.
Yeah, they got to get something going offensively because before this gets out of hand.
Hairston over the middle, finds his man. Reese Atkins still running all the way down to the 23-yard line. Biggest play of the game so far for UMass.
And that's how you answer. You come out, quick little bank the play action and just send the tight end down the hash. One-on-one, tight end wins it and picks up a chunk of yardage for UMass. Great play and a great start to a drive.
Hairston throwing again. Left side, pass and catch. This time it's Donnie Gray before he's wrapped up inside the 20.
Harrison has done he's played well so far this first half. He's made some great plays, some great throws, made some great decisions. So if there's something positive about UMass, it's definitely the play of the quarterback.
Picked up 5. Elijah Faulkner in at tailback. 4:35 and ticking here in the first half. Roll it out, needs to get rid of it. Hairston into the back of the end zone, and no one home. Atkins was in the end zone, but that one never had a shot to get all the way to him.
That's just great coverage. I saw Harrison, he wanted to go to the flat. Kent State did a great job of defending that, so now he's ad-libbing, and when you're ad-libbing, you want your receivers to ad-lib with them as well. You just throw it to the back of the end zone. You don't want to throw a pick, so you just throw it where no one can get it.
Hood back in the game for UMass. He's got extra protection. Hands it off just in time. Hood tackled at his feet. DJ Barnes did not want to give up that first down.
That's just a great tackle by DJ Barnes, man, because Hood has some space, but look at him. You go for the legs, you go for the ankles. That's exactly what he did. Take those ankles out, take that feet out, and the running back is going to get taken out.
Needs to get to the 14 on 4th down. Hairston under duress, knocked down, loose piggy on the field, recovered by UMass. But it doesn't matter. Kent State will have great field position as Hairston was under fire, and the Golden Flashes defense coming through in a big way.
Kent State defensive coordinator Cherokee Valeria, Coach Key is just doing a great job of mixing things up. Sometimes he comes back in the zone, but sometimes he brings that pressure. He brings the pressure right there. The defensive lineman is able to get in there, get his hands on the quarterback, but not only get his hands on the quarterback, but smack that ball down as a fumble. Huge play for Kent State, and there's Coach Key right there talking to his defense, and he's calling a great game so far.
Looked like Mason Maddox was right there. And now Kent State runs it on 1st down, driven out of bounds.
These Kent State defenders as well, man, they've shown just some great ball instincts and just some great instincts anyway. We've seen a couple of Dikembe Mutombos today, and we saw a nice little swim move and dominating the offensive lineman to get us. I mean, it's just been a great defensive game plan and offensive game plan from the Golden Flashes.
Dubin angling towards the sidelines and a 1st down run. So you see the dynamic, the two-headed monster that Kent State's been waiting for prime example on the last 2 plays.
And once again, I mean, I love what I see. I love what I see from Nubin. I love what I see from Garcia. They are giving you 2 different things. And not only is Nubin more of a thumper, he is pretty good with his feet, and he does have the propensity to get outside and the ability to get outside and show some of that quickness and that dexterity, which he just showed by tiptoeing on the sideline.
Another handoff right now. Kent State continuing with the ground game. That's kind of been their MO, really doing it the old-fashioned way, using that run to set up the pass. It's worked big time so far.
And I love it, man. But when you have running back talent, you should use your running back talent, regardless of what kind of offensive coordinator you are. But Clay Patterson said, hey, he wants to run the rock. He wants to set the tone. He wants to have that physicality, and we've seen it today.
Looks like one more play before the 2-minute timeout. A little bit of movement. Kent State to Shields towards the end zone, and almost a one-handed attempt by Sebastian Brown. Looked like some confusion on the snap. It looked like they were waiting for whistles.
They were. It looked like they were waiting for a whistle. And it looked like Sebastian Brown was anticipating a whistle. So he ended up going from receiver to playing DB because that ball could have been picked up. So Sebastian Brown actually with a great defensive back play right there, even though he was technically a receiver.
It looks like we will get at least one more play before the 2-minute timeout. Always speak too soon. DeShields will have to step up. Holds on to that football. Now running and tracked down at the 40-yard line. Darion Craig was able to bring him down. 3rd and 8 coming up after the 2-minute timeout. You're watching Mid-American Cup. (21-3) our score. Kent State and UMass homecoming, and they haven't seen a lot of this home or away, the Golden Flashes, over the last few years. For them to have this kind of a lead, you see the crowd that is hanging on in the stands. Arrow maybe pointing up here for the interim coach, Mark Carney. Meanwhile, 4th and 8. And the offense still on the field. Ball will be snapped from the 39. And the quick punt. How about that? Quick kick. And that's not bad. Inside the 10.
That's great. You know, you can take chances like that when your defense is playing as well as Kent State is playing. We thought they were going to go for it, and I wouldn't have minded if they did go for it, because this defense has been absolutely dominating. You see 7 tackles for loss today. Just in the first half, they had 8 against Oklahoma, and it's just an outstanding defensive game plan by Coach Key, and a great execution by his defenders out there. And you can tell he's been talking to them, preaching to them, letting them know, look, we're going to come out here and we're going to let it hang. We're going to let it hang, and that's exactly what they've been doing. They've been letting it hang, they've been letting it swing, and they've just been absolutely swarming and playing a great defensive first half.
DC, Cherokee, Valeria. They have their Aloha sessions throughout the week at practice. Errant throw from Hairston on first down, but part of what he's been able to do, one of the last promotions, because he was already on the staff, but he got promoted very late to DC. And he, of course, jumped at the opportunity, but his idea, and get a chance to talk to him earlier this year, just bringing an energy to understand that they can achieve their goals here at Kent State.
Exactly, especially, you know, when you lose players, you have to plug and play players in. They've done a good job of that so far.
Well, Kent State wanted a hold near the end zone as they were thinking safety. It has been really tough for UMass to block some of those Kent State defensive linemen and linebackers. Of course, we've had 2 guards carted off the field for UMass so far today. Tough break, Sullivan Weidman, as well as Mao Glynn II. And so they're trying to patch that up on the line. And
you can tell they're playing, that defense is playing with so much confidence right now. They feel like everything they do, they can dominate at every position on every play. And I don't blame them for feeling that way, because they have been dominant.
They sent 6, and the pressure got there again, as they got a piece of that football coming out of Hairston's arms. Mason Woods was there. They are relentless right now.
And look at Mason Woods just coming on that blitz, and the running back doesn't do a good job of picking him up. He's able to swim over him, get to him, and put that pressure on the quarterback to force him into a bad throw.
Punting from his own end zone. He gets it away. Nice job by Keegan Andrews. And, boy, UMass thinks that is a loose football. They thought it was live. The UMass sidelines pointing in the other direction. They want the football.
It's a good sell job. When the ball is that close to your sideline, you got to try to sell it like that. But good punt is able to tiptoe around the line. They was thinking, hoping that it hit Kent State Golden Flash.
The ball was not touched. First down for the receiving team.
They got close to the towel. That was about it. You need a little more than that. Trying to get lucky there.
They forget that we have great camera work. We have great camera people, man, and we can see clear as day that the ball was close to his bum, but it didn't touch his bum. It stayed in bounds, but it didn't touch a Kent State Golden Flash. So
the Golden Flash is going to have some good field position, 3 timeouts, minute and 24. Still everything in the playbook is up for grabs. So a great opportunity to take what already is a nice lead to make it a commanding lead here at homecoming. The whole goal, always homecoming, I don't care where you are, is to get the students to stay through the halftime.
Yeah, and right now they're doing a good job, but here we go, taking a look at this again, and it does tickle the towel a little bit, but that's all it did. But the towel is not the body. Maybe they're trying to see did it hit his foot? No, it didn't hit his foot. It tickled the towel, but it didn't touch him. So I think the towel isn't part of the physiology, so I don't think that counts, Anthony.
It's an accessory.
It's an accessory, exactly. Unnecessary accessory, but it's an accessory.
Now, why do you say unnecessary?
Because he's a receiver. It's back here. He just wants it to flap in the wind when he's running down the field. Is it a good look? I mean, it looks good. It's cute. You know, receiver, DB, that's what they do. Is it
a generational thing? You're saying it's a position thing.
Well, you know, receivers, DBs, they pretty much the same. You know, they like to be seen. They like to be a little pretty. You know, to me, it's pretty. It's pretty. I didn't necessarily want to be pretty when I was playing, but it's pretty.
Read between the lines. Doc Holliday, the commentary, getting it in as they are taking some time, making sure they take a comprehensive view.
The ruling on the field is upheld. First down, Kent State.
Rick Warren doing everything he could to make sure they got it right. There's our two coaches. The one on the right, interim. That label is still attached. Already had a wild shootout game against Buffalo, and it was a lot of fun, but they came out in the end with a loss. And UMass still looking for that first victory. So DeShields, he did get that ball away, but it was incomplete. The intended target on that one could not come down with it. Jose Kimbrough.
This would be huge for Kent State if they're able to get down there and get some points before this first half is over, to go into halftime with even more momentum and confidence with what they got going on.
Second down, step it up again, but this time he is dropped. The pressure for UMass finally got home.
UMass, second charge timeout. 30-second timeout. Clock operator, please reset the game clock to 1:14.
And that's a coverage sack. Everybody's covered down the field, didn't have anybody to throw to. Didn't find anybody open. He's able to step up in the pocket, but the pocket quickly collapsed on him, and Madison is able to come up with the huge sack and a big play for UMass. And now the play is stopped. Now if you UMass, now you thinking, possibly we may have a chance to get this football back before the half is up.
All right, could be an opportunity. Here is what's going on around the Mid-American Conference. Thus far today, I saw a massive crowd at Bowling Green to see Eddie George take that big rivalry game against Toledo. What a big-time win to help jumpstart that program. Akron has already fallen today. Anytime on a Kent State broadcast, they can hear an announcer say Akron lost.
They love it.
They love that one. And on 3rd and 12, Kent State, they run the football, the conservative approach. We will get a timeout with 1:11 on the clock. That was the last one, I believe, for UMass. And so maybe an opportunity here at the end of the half. We've already seen the special teams play loom large for one team. Charlie Durkin just does get that football off. It takes a big time Kent State bounce. How big have the Golden Flashes been on special teams today? They down that football at the 1-yard line. 59 yards unofficially on the punt. And now, if you're UMass, you get a piece of that?
It's a great job by the punter avoiding getting that punt blocked and not rushing, and still keeping with this technique and able to place that ball down there. Great punt team coverage to down that ball at less than the 1-yard line. So any dreams that UMass may have had of running down the field or throwing down the field to possibly get a touchdown, I don't think you do too much backed up this far, man, with that much green grass and green turf to go before you get to the other side of the field.
Remember, UMass will touch the football first out of the half. They still go from the gun. They're throwing. After all that pressure that they've seen so far today, they allowed Hairston to deliver the football. He did, but minimal gain. And now Kent State's going to think about using those timeouts.
Everybody wants more. I was kind of surprised Kent State wasn't as aggressive the previous drive when they had the ball. They came by and threw a quick out, and then, of course, the Shields got some pressure and got sacked. But now, coming out there, you got them pinned deep. Now you're thinking, okay, if we can stop them, we can get the ball in good field position to get a field goal attempt. But you got to stop them first.
I'll tell you, that was some bravery to even think about throwing way down there after what we've seen in the trenches. It has been a lopsided matchup, and you figure in the injuries as well for UMass up front.
That's why I guarantee you that's why UMass called the quick game. Quick out, get the ball out of your hands. Don't take any chances this close to the end zone or in the end zone. So throw a quick out. That's exactly what they did. It's a minimal game, but they still get themselves some space from where they are in the goal line.
Doc, certified ball knower.
Appreciate you, Anthony. You too, man.
We're all over it. He's got to roll out, try to get rid of this football, and he will throw that ball way out of bounds, almost into the bleachers, as he did not want to make a cataclysmic mistake towards the end of the half.
Before the pass, holding, defense, number 22, 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
All right, some breathing room on the defensive hold. That might have been part of the calculus there. Why he threw the ball away is because one of his guys getting help.
Think about this, Anthony. If I'm not mistaken, earlier they had UMass stopped, right? Third and forever. They get a penalty. UMass is able to keep the drive going. They get 3 points out of it. Right here, you probably had them stopped and make them punt the ball, but now you get a penalty, and now Kent State probably won't get the ball back before the half is out.
Defensive ends were getting after it again, as they were able to get rid of the football for completion to Kenyon Massey. But it has been really tough for the tackles so far today from UMass.
It's been a physical first half, man. We've seen some big hits, some scuffles and puffles.
We have another committee meeting
Number
on the
0
field.
of the offense lost his helmet. Therefore, there's a 10-second runoff. Please reset the game clock to 43 seconds and then to 33 seconds. The clock will start on the signal. Thank you.
It's interesting. They got the runoff there. If Kent State could have avoided the runoff, you'd think they would have wanted to. Hairston under fire. That ball thrown out of bounds, and a late flag could be roughing the passer.
It looked like a shot right to the face to me, man.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 5. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Certainly not what you want to go down at this stage as you're trying to get your football back.
I can see why they called it, and the referees have done a good job this first half. You just can't hit the quarterback, especially late, and that's exactly what they called.
All right, Kent State couldn't get everybody off the field. Substitution. I don't see a flag. Instead, Hairston somehow delivered that football. So 14 seconds left.
Illegal substitution. Defense. 12 players on the field. That penalty's declined. Result of play is the first down. The clock will start on the snap.
He's watching them. He's watching them. Seeing them trying to hustle, get off the field. He gets his team set and taking command of the offense and taking advantage of Kent State not being able to get their guys off the field.
Well, and then the clock was stopped at 14 seconds to go, as we are getting a lengthy end of the half situation here.
Somebody called in and said, we
Because
want
the
more
substitute
Anthony.
was leaving the field, there's no clock reset. First down.
All right, so they snap it at 14. Hairston under fire. That ball deflected and dangerously close to an interception if Kent State was able to look up and see the football.
Once again, this Kent State defense, man, I'm going to start calling them handymen because their hands are all over the place. Coach Key, once again, brings pressure, and his defenders are able to get there, and that's what you teach defensive linemen and linebackers. If you're getting pressure and you see you can't get there and you see the quarterback stop and get ready to throw the ball, get your hands up, and that's exactly what they did right there.
C.J. Young all over it. But right here, down the sidelines, another completion, Kenyon Massey. And so you're actually seeing some of the best the passing game has looked all day in this chaotic end-of-half situation. At the very least, they'll have an opportunity at a Hail Mary. They'd like to get to the 35 to feel good about a field goal. 5 seconds to go. Hairston, they wanted to go quick. And did they do it in time? 1 tick on the clock, and now they're in field goal range. But a flag
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense, number 95. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Oh, the fans absolutely cannot believe it. And you are looking right there at the interim coach, Mark Carney, getting after Jelani Davis. Another unforced error on this drive to give UMass the slightest hope of cashing in.
And Coach Carney has it right. He should be all up in Davis's face because you don't want to make them kind of mental mistakes. And they've had some mental letdowns like that. And that's a huge one. Now UMass possibly can put 3 points on the board.
From 32 yards. It was a good snap, good hold, and splitting the uprights is Derek Morris. How did they get 3 out of that drive? 21-6. What a first half. Homecoming at Kent State. Early explosives. Some playmaking. A little bit of trickery. It's all been on the table. And now halftime is next here at Kent State. Welcome back. It's halftime here between UMass and Kent State. Now, so far this college football season, there's one true breakout star in the game. When former Heisman Trophy winner Eddie George was hired as Bowling Green's new head coach, it seemed clear he would be the face of the program. But not so fast. Along came Pudge the Cat, Bowling Green's unofficial mascot.
Back in March, when Bowling Green hired Eddie George, the 1995 Heisman Trophy winner, as its new head football coach, it seemed clear he would be the face of the program. But things have changed.
Pudge.
Pudge.
Pudge. Pudge.
Pudge the Cat, Bowling Green's unofficial mascot.
Pudge is like Julius Caesar around here, you know. When he comes down the street, the crowd parts. You know, they throw rose petals at his feet. He is the rock star.
Pudge Mania took off in early August at training camp. That was when Finn Hogan, a senior receiver, first encountered senior long snapper George Carlson's 3-year-old exotic short hair.
I was in the training room and someone came in and was like, hey, like there's a cat hanging out in one of the lockers in the locker room. I was like, what? So had to go check it out like anybody else would.
Hogan decided to post a video of Pudge to TikTok and Instagram. In an instant, a feline star was born. When you brought him into the locker room, what was the reason?
We had a tough practice before where people were kind of emotional and coaches were emotional. And so I thought, you know, what wouldn't be a better thing to bring my cat in and kind of switch things up.
2 months later, and Pudge is sitting pretty. A fat cat with NIL deals pouring in. He travels to road games where hotels have been known to exempt him from their no pets policies. He even has security. Actually, Assistant Athletic Director Taylor Jefferson.
No one signed me up for it, but you got to dress for the job that you want. That's what you always hear. It's a job I take very seriously. He needs the security. There's lots of people out there who want a piece of Pudge.
For his part, the Falcons head coach betrays no resentment regarding his demotion on the depth chart.
Love the cat. He is amazing. Although I'm allergic to him, with the cats.
Pudge the Cat has become the story. People say, hey, can you drive to Cleveland to have Pudge on a radio show? I'm like, it's radio. He doesn't talk.
Pudge, thank you for making the time for us. I know you have a busy schedule and you're in the process of grooming yourself. What has this been like for you? Becoming one of the biggest celebrities of the college football season. But the power of Pudge transcends speech. For George Carlson, Pudge has been a constant source of comfort and strength, especially after his mother, Kristen, was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. She died last year at the age of 57.
I needed to make sure that I had somebody to talk to or be able to get me out of a dark mindset that I could get into. So Pudge was great. I think just having a companion was the best thing for me. He's brought me a lot of joy, a lot of comfort, especially in tough times, and allowing other people to have smiles on their faces from just seeing Pudge. I think it's a huge thing.
What's in it for Pudge?
What makes Pudge happy is this. It's not the celebrity. What he loves to do is to ease the spirits of broken souls. My only concern is I just want him to enjoy his life. He just wants to be a cat, man. He just wants to love. He wants to hang out. He just wants to get the sunshine. He wants to have snacks. He wants to be cuddled. Let Pudge just be Pudge sometimes.
And make sure to stick around because when we come back, we will get a chance to look up and down the Mid-American Conference. We will have all your scores, that and so much more here at halftime. Kent State 21-6 over UMass. Been a wild first half here at Dick's Stadium on the campus of Kent State. We had a wild finish between Bowling Green, Toledo, big time rivalry. And look at that capacity crowd, the turnover. And look at the Falcons winning this rivalry game. I-75, Eddie George. They were down big in this one. They come all the way back to pull off the victory. Not bad. They're chanting Eddie, Eddie, with a signature win in his first year already. Congrats.
Yeah, he got the villain goatee going, man. He was down 21-0. Huge win for them.
All right, we've got highlights, stats, analysis, so much more. Stick around for the second half. Could get even more fireworks straight ahead. Mac Football. (21-6). Kent State with the lead. UMass will have the ball at the start of the second half. Anthony Lima and Doc Holliday, which has been a very, very entertaining first half between two teams, and we didn't really know how this one would shake out.
We have an excitement. We've had it all, man. We've had big hits, big plays. We've seen some great quarterback play by A.J. Harrison, UMass quarterback, who they really didn't know if he was going to come in here and perform well. He's performed well. Drew DeShields on the hammy. He's performing well. We've just had a great first half so far.
Yeah, we got to take a look at how this thing started right off the rip. You can't afford to fall asleep or wake up late if that alarm isn't working, because you would have missed 91 yards to Realist Clark.
Now, I don't know who the fakest is, but I know who the realist is. It's the Realist Clark, Mr. D.C. Marvel. And then you got Drew DeShields. A nice little play action. Hits Sebastian Brown up the hash for the touchdown.
And they weren't done there, because you saw an excellent performance. Drew DeShields finding his man, Deshaun Martin. You said he led him. Look at the dive.
He threw him open, Anthony. He threw him to a spot, and he had to dive and get it and make a great touchdown catch.
Now, the Minutemen did their best work in under a minute. Part of it was some of the mistakes by Kent State in their defense. Unforced errors, substitution issue, a personal foul kept the drive alive, and they got 3 points out of thin air.
Now, we can talk about the mistakes, the mental mistakes that Kent State made, but we can't understate the great plays that quarterback A.J. Harrison made for their UMass offense to end that first half, making some great throws, getting his team in position to get 3 more points.
All right, we'll have all the numbers and your second half kickoff. Does UMass have a come-from-behind effort in them? Find out. Mid-American Conference Football on ESPN, campus of Kent State University, where the Golden Flashes here on homecoming have given the fans plenty to be excited about so far, but they got to close the deal. They've done it for a half. They were not happy with the way the end of the half, with the big-time penalties, allowed UMass to get a field goal, and an otherwise dominant first half ended up looking a lot closer in the stat sheet because of those penalties.
And of course, in way UMass ended their first half of making all those plays, but you talked about it, man. It's a 60-minute ball game. You win the first half, good for you, but you got to win the second half as well. So that's what Kent State has to try to finish. But UMass not out of this game. They have some positivity and things they can feel good about, because you look at the total yardage, it looked like it was off balance and offset, but it's pretty even because of how that guy has played so far today, Mr. Hairston.
All right, Hairston coming out here in the second half. Quick catch by Jake McConaughey. And look, last week they benched their quarterback at half when Brandon Rose just didn't do enough in that loss to Western Michigan. So Has A.J. Hairston done enough so far to maybe put his stamp on this position?
No doubt about it. He's played a great game so far. Coach Harris Simiak was waiting on somebody to come grab their quarterback spot, and that's exactly what A.J. Harrison looks like he's been able to do so far.
And there is a Jawan Price first down run. We had the numbers up there, very lopsided in the run game. 101 for Kent State in that first half, 8 to UMass, and it feels like they can still at least effort in the run game when you're only down 21-6. That those field goals were pretty big. All right, Hairston with time to throw, but Donnie Gray had to go over the back to try to reel that ball in. Great coverage by Kent State and Jair Rawlinson.
That's the thing about it, man. Man to man is me and you mano a mano. Rawlinson is like, nah, you're not going to catch this, but you got to give it to Harrison. He threw it back shoulder where his receiver will be the only one with an opportunity to catch that ball. Is either incompletion or a catch, and fortunately for him, it was an incompletion because it wasn't picked off.
Harrison, quick target to Gray again. Dragging tacklers past the 50-yard line. And UMass finding a little bit of rhythm.
And I see what UMass is doing. Like, if you're going to play off our receivers, man, if you're going to give us this much space between you and my receiver, just go out there and run a hitch route and pick up 5 and 6, 7 yards. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're taking advantage of their soft coverage.
And now Brandon Hood with another effective run right up the middle. Six yards on first down makes everything a little easier. Hairston. Crowd has gotten awfully quiet. Bouncing to the outside. And flipped up in the air. Hood with another first down after the tackle.
And that's just some great footwork and some great vision by Hood. I'm watching the UMass offense. You bring the tight end down, make it a tight right, but Hood gets it, cuts back to the left, finds some space, and if that wide receiver could have stayed on his block a little longer, he could have got even more yards.
Hairston throws it. Left side. Back shoulder throw, but incomplete. The ball was right on the money to Donnie Gray.
We'll say it again, A.J. Harrison has looked extremely impressive so far. He had a great ending to the first half, and so far it's a great beginning to the second half. Not only has he's been able to make plays, they've been able to make plays in the running game, and that UMass offense has picked up some confidence, and I think they've seen something that they like that they can be successful at.
I wonder if the shadows on that left side of the field, that ball is coming in and out of the light. Johnson was trying to get his footing after the catch. The redshirt freshman out of Phoenix, Arizona. So that'll set up 3rd and 11.
But I see they want to get Johnson the football to give him the ball in some space. So you throw him on a screen game, but kind of lost his balance.
Because Zion Dia Johnson, first time we've called his name out today. Big 3rd and 11. They got some conversions on 3rd down at the end of the half. Kent State ran a stunt. Hairston, the comebacker. A nice defensive play. Right in on that was Tevin Tucker to disrupt the throw.
And once again, Coach Key coming out on that defensive play right there. He came out showing a cover 3, but as soon as the ball snapped, they go to a cover 2, then you throw it in. A.J. Harrison thought he had someone open. Just a great break and a great recognition by the DB.
Tucker, the redshirt sophomore, Kannapolis, North Carolina. How about this? UMass keeping Hairston and the offense on the field. Kent State trying to get their substitutions, and then we see movement, all sorts of chaos.
Everybody's confused. Kent State trying to substitute and get some new personnel in there, get caught on the field. He don't know, do I come in, do I stop? But ref said the play stops.
Offense, number 72, 5-yard penalty, 4th down. We have a silent interference. Excuse me. Silent warning. Kent State, it's the first of the game.
A bit of a blown opportunity because Kent State was trying to run a sub off the field. UMass got a little giddy. They spotted it, but then they weren't set.
The tackle he lost it for a minute right there because they had him, Kent State, with a very late defensive substitution, and they had him with too many men on the field, but the offensive tackle inexplicably comes out of his stance.
Wayne Harris stationed at the 10. He will signal for a fair catch, goes over him and into the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. So the Golden Flashes get their stop, and they'll touch the football for the first time of the second half. It's MAC football on ESPN. All right, so you see a pair of Newbins right there on the field. Tyler Newbin, the brother of Jordan, the tailback for Kent State, who's back healthy this week. He was drafted in the second round, part of what looks to be a potentially magic draft class over the last 2 years from the Giants. Both, how about this, were coached by the current UMass coach, Joe Harris-Simiak. So interesting that the worlds collide of football. We always talk about, Doc, a small fraternity.
It is, man, very small fraternity, especially that NFL fraternity. So it's good to see your NFL brother here at the game supporting Jordan.
Pretty cool, you know, to have the opportunity to do that. Obviously, the Giants played on Thursday night, pulling off the big upset over the defending Super Bowl champs. Looks like the Giants have a lot of young players to get excited about, and certainly Newbin is one of them.
Yeah, great win for them, man. Beat them down.
DeShields throws left side, and that's enough for a first down and more. Completion to Deshaun Martin, who has a touchdown already today.
Now, we could talk about this completion and this throw by Drew DeShields, but the blitz big pickup by Gavin Garcia, absolutely immaculate on that last play. I wish we could see it, but great job. He got smacked in the mouth, but great blitz pickup to pick up that blitzer like that.
Gavin Garcia, 5'7", 192.
And watch him. He comes over, crosses the quarterback's face. Great job of protection, allowing Drew DeShields to sit back there and make that completion, because he had to put his body on the line, and Gavin Garcia took the brunt of that, but still, that's what you call courage in the face of fire. Sound like a movie.
All right, there is the running back Jordan Newbin. who they really wanted to see him as they got further on in the season get healthier so they could kind of go with that two-headed monster. Obviously very different bodies, very different running attacks. But if they can get both of them on the field throughout the max slate, they'll feel a lot better about their situation running a balanced offense.
And his brother see him. Tyler looking at Jordan, and Jordan, he's one of those running backs. If you're UMass, you want to see him tap dancing like that and not going north and south. Even though he's good with his feet, he's better going north and south and getting it and going off tackle.
Martin was in motion, and that errant throw had Martin wide open. So a misfire there, and UMass gets the stop.
And we've seen DeShields miss several players several times by just throwing the ball too high. I just still don't think he's getting his feet under him. He's probably still a little bit more uncomfortable, and his base just hasn't been there, and his techniques haven't really been there on a couple of throws. And we've seen one right there. Could have been a huge third down pickup, but unfortunately you get an incompletion. But fortunately for UMass, they get the ball back on this punt.
And it is a fake. The gold flashes pulling everything out on homecoming. First down. An insane trick play. And the ball ends up with their tight end, Zaire Fletcher.
Now you can talk about a punt, but they bring DC DeRillis Clark out on a reverse. He gets the pitch and just great patience. He played like a quarterback right there because he took his time, and it's that guy DC Marvel again, man. We've seen him return the kickoff, we've seen him catch, and now we see him with the beautiful throw on the trick play.
Well, all eyes were on Clark. There on the fake. That allowed everything to open up, and that has to be a big-time blow to UMass's spirits, giving up another special teams play.
And it still was a great call, but it was an even greater throw and a greater decision by DeRillis Clark because he had to show some patience. He had to wait till the receiver came open. He came open. He threw a ball perfectly to him and just caught UMass totally off guard.
So the drive still alive. 2nd and 7. Garcia flanking the Shields. Sebastian Brown will throw. This one too short, but a penalty thrown as Brown took a hit.
Yes, sir. Defense, number 9. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, UMass is saying, we didn't think he was passing.
Of course, he looks like a runner to them, but even though he is a receiver, but he turns into Sebastian Brown, turns into a pass thrower right there, which is technically a quarterback. So once the ball is gone, he's throwing. You cannot hit him, and he hit him late, and he got called for it.
So there, a mishap with the snap. They couldn't field it. So, boy, we've seen a little bit of everything on this drive. Mistakes to go around. And now another flag as the players are having a polite homecoming discussion.
And you said it, Anthony, we've seen it all on this drive. We've seen tricks, we've seen tempers, and we've seen tantrums. So we've seen it all, and right there, it looks like we may have had another temper or a tantrum.
Half the play on sportsmanlike conduct. Defense, number 90. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down. That's his first of the game for ejection.
2 penalties, so costly to the Minutemen. All right, so take a look as there's still all sorts of contact after the whistle. Umpire was right there to see all of it. And things going from bad to worse for UMass, who thought they had themselves a stop.
Looking at Joe Harrisimiak, he thought they had a stop as well, so he's processing in his head and see what the next move needs to be.
That give, Garcia getting the push, closer and closer inside the 5.
Garcia has been extremely impressive. Every time he's had the ball in his hands today, I can see the shiftiness that the coaches talked about and the shiftiness I saw from him watching game film in preparation for this game.
And they were going tempo. Garcia brought down. He thought he had some daylight, but Kendall Bournes put all of that to rest. Cade Wolford subs in, as does Wayne Harris. On a 3rd and 5, they can get a first down without getting into the end zone. 7:30 and ticking.
I haven't really heard Cade Wolford's name too much today. I was expecting it, but maybe now.
Harris in motion, Newman the back. The Shields throws to the right side. Can he get inside the pylon? It's close. Harris thought he had a touchdown. And at the very least, it's first down and goal for the Golden Flashes. They are looking to line up immediately. Fans just saw the replay. They wanted a tutty. DeShields, fade route. And that one never got started. A late flag enters the end zone. They were looking for Martin.
Pass interference, defense, number 1, half the distance to the goal. First down.
Malcolm Green, he's been shadowing Martin throughout most of this game.
And he got hands to the face and everything, and Martin just kind of slow walked him and going. But you look at this play, I love the way it was set up. You had some crossing routes, clears it out and gives it to him in the flat, and he almost got the touchdown there.
Boy, Newman, they get to him before he got to the end zone. Might have lost yardage or footage, but they went backwards.
And that's the one thing when you're facing a running back like Jordan Newman, you want to get him to stop his momentum before he even gets going, because once he gets going, it's hard to bring him down. But if you can make him pause and go laterally like they just did, you have a better chance of bringing him down, and that's exactly what just happened.
And this time on the keeper, UMass swallows it up. And again, the Golden Flashes going backwards instead of towards the goal line.
Just attitude and effort and pride right now. This is what UMass is playing with right now, especially these last couple of plays. Nolan Good with the good play. Not the good play, but the great play right there. Just Drew DeShields trying to options to keep it, and once he keeps it, there's just nowhere for him to run.
Yeah, they brought in Nolan Good on that package. We were tipped off this week. We might see that. He's come in and played a couple of times so far this year, quarterback for Kent State. One of 5 they've had throw a football this year. So 3rd and 4. Well, UMass trying to make a big stop, and we get another flag.
Delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Boy, Carney cannot believe it. As you see Drew DeShields as well. You were on the 1-foot line. Couple of stops. UMass stepped up. They were desperate. 3rd and 9. Garcia in at running back. DeShields, right side. The battle for the ball is won by Sebastian Brown. Touchdown!
And when you watch it, look at the ball. Drew DeShields just throws it up there. Tarek Mulder is able to pull it down right in the bread basket, catches it over the defender. DeShields puts it only where Mulder can get it. He gets it in. No X-Files, just 6 points. Scully, you got it. Touchdown, Kent State. Way to end the drive, man.
great reference. I'd say the real ones know. DeRealis Clark on the throw to get things jump-started. And then the touchdown. Mulder winning that battle. And Kent State winning this game 28-6.
Outs.
Well, we've had a couple of wild drives in this game today, aided by penalties, trick plays, more penalties, and Tarek Mulder just saying, I want that football more than you do. Just incredible.
Let me get that now. He jumped to high point the ball, but he went to high point the ball, and the ball, it was at a low point, but he got it off the low point, turns around, gets it in. Drew DeSeals places it perfectly, man. But to even come down with that ball to be able to catch it while he's in the air and fading backwards and still to have the concentration to catch it, get down and score a touchdown. Just a great job by Tarek Mulder from Lexington, Kentucky.
So UMass now finding themselves in an ever-growing hole. It's 28-6. What can they do? We've seen some good moments out of A.J. Hairston where he has looked composed, but now you're really up against it, especially with the problems your offensive line has had today.
It's about being consistent, man, and not being mentally sloppy. You've seen some great plays. You've seen some good throws by A.J. Harrison and some good plays by this offensive unit. But the thing about it, you got to understand, you're still in this ball game. You're only down 22 points. It's 5.5 minutes left in the third quarter. So if you can get something positive going and hopefully get a touchdown, you can be right back in this ball game.
Throwing on first down. Hairston, pocket, collapsing. He goes down. He does get about 3 yards, so he's able to avoid the sack. But it is going to get tougher and tougher. With a nice job there by Burgess.
And it's a good job by Harrison making something out of nothing, because there was nowhere to throw that football.
Throwing again and got hit, but should have been caught. Jake McConaughey could not hold on to the football.
Officials timeout.
Yeah,
Where did your player on defense?
Yeah, Joel Boma, the redshirt sophomore out of Newark. That throw was right there.
Looks like it hit his head. And they may have gotten away with a roughing on Harrison, but great coverage by Beaumont. But when you saw him hit the ground, the back of his head hit that turf, and you saw his head bounce off the turf. So hopefully he's okay.
Trainers are out there near midfield. We already had 2 UMass players carted off, unfortunately, in the first half. Sullivan Weidman, their left guard, also right guard Mao Glynn II. Good news here is that Beaumont got some assistance to get up, and now he's trotting off, I should say.
That's good to see. He just sheathed his sword, so letting his teammates know I'm good.
All right, UMass desperately needs a conversion here. 3rd and 6. Out of the gun again. Kent State sends 5. They had the completion, but McConaughey was surrounded the minute he caught the football. Swarming Kent State defense. It looked like they want to keep the offense out there. Joe Harris-Simiak saying, why not? We're down 28-6. We're on the road. Not a lot's going our way. Hairston with a man in his face. It's caught right at the marker.
Short.
It looked a tad short. They're really in the field. Once the runner was short of the line to gain. First down, Kent State.
But you got to give it to Harris-Simiak going for it this deep in his own territory. And you see the crossing route, and he throws it to him, but just a great job by the defender to get his left arm on him to bring him down just a yard short of the sticks. And they're going to definitely come up short. It's a great spot by the referees. Great look. But just didn't get it.
Well, if you're a UMass fan, you obviously give up the great field position, but do you like Coach going for it, trying to show the team something? The big throw to the end zone and an answer. Kent State touchdown. They go for the dagger.
And Drew DeShields knew he had him open right now. Come out with the quick play action, and the receiver was on top of the defender as soon as he came off the line of scrimmage, and he just threw a perfect ball to him and just a perfect catch, perfect execution. They didn't waste any time going right for UMass's neck.
Extra point is good. Kent State now pouring it on. What a throw and catch. Ardell Banks from right up the road. Massillon, Ohio, the redshirt sophomore. There was the 4th down stop. And then going for the gusto. It's all Kent State.
Welcome back. Hey, we want to take a look at that last touchdown, and I love Ardell Banks. Drew DeShields didn't even look at him. Banks like, oh, you going to man me up? I see you squared up press, but you going to give me a free release? Free release? I'm not going to even put my mouthpiece in my mouth. I'm just going to stack you, get back on top of you, get your hands up off of me. DeShields, perfect ball, high points it, clubs it, claws it, touchdown, and he even kicked the defender at the end a little bit, man. He just throw salt in the wounds. That's just a great route and great throw by Drew DeShields.
34 yards, his first career touchdown. Played his high school football right up the road at a powerhouse Northeast Ohio program over at Massillon. And in a blink of an eye, you saw the turnover and then going for it all on the very next play. Just like that, 35-6.
Yeah, we see you, my guy. This is what you call belt to bum right now. So UMass have to answer, because you have to continue to stay in this game and continue to try to stay positive, because you still have a lot of season left. And as I talk, you still have some more mental sloppiness by the slot.
Number 0, 5-yard penalty, first down.
You know, we said at the outset of today's game, in roughly 3 hours, one of these teams was going to be feeling a lot better about the trajectory of their program. And pretty obvious who that is today.
Eats and beats. Told you, man. Eats and beats. That's what Kent State wanted today, and that's what they've been getting.
They send the blitz, and that ball off the hands of Kezion Dia-Johnson. And now nothing going right for the Minutemen.
Right now, Coach Key just continuing to bring pressure. He has all the confidence in the world that his defense may bend, but they have not broken today.
2nd and 15. Harrison takes a shot. And while it feels like I am on repeat, Antoine Campbell Jr. nearly got home.
Once again, that's a different name that we're calling, a different player in a different position, but pretty much the same kind of play. And you see they bring some more pressure in. 1-1 gets his hands on Harrison. Incompletion. I mean, they're just dominating UMass offense in every way possible right now.
Here they come again. Hairston somehow gets it off. And Kent State says they've got an INT. Turnover. Hairston suffocated under the pressure. And Joel Boma, who had left the game last series, comes back and gets the INT.
And you love to see that about Joel Boma. We just saw him lying on the ground, head hurt, but he comes back out to make A.J. Harrison's feelings hurt. Kent State brings some pressure, and Boma, beautiful break and low points the ball, gets a pick, comes up with the huge play, and you deserve to celebrate, my guy. You deserve to run down the field so everybody can see you.
All right, you're starting to see some new personnel. That is the freshman Nolan Good out of Avon, the west suburbs of Cleveland, about an hour from here.
Officials timeout for ninja player on defense.
As we get a stoppage, saw Nolan Good a few weeks ago play. We were told he was going to be a part of, you know, a few packages here and there. But now with the 35-6 lead, the good news for Kent State is you get Drew DeShields, who's hobbling a little bit in the first half. You get him out of there. They're thinking long term with many conference games still remaining. And now to get the freshman some time to be out there, work on some things.
That's a great point. You get Nolan Good in there to get him some experience. But like you said, the best part of that, sit Drew DeShields down and let him rest for the rest of this game and continue to heal that hamstring.
Handoff up the middle. Newman finds some space, sheds the official, and dances into the end zone. Big time run from Jordan Newman. Touchdown. And his brother with the weekend off from the New York Football Giants, loving every minute of it.
Look at this run. Draw play, slide over, get the rock. I'm going to tap, and get out of the way. The got out of the way because I wouldn't want Jordan Newman to run into me either, but Newman is able to show the sweet feet. He's able to slide past the umpire and get through them UMass defenders, man, and he's the man of the hour, getting touchdowns on the Minutemen.
They say homecoming, it's about friends, family, your classmates. Nice to have the family root you on as they have opened up the floodgates here at Dick's Stadium. 42-6, all Golden Flashes this afternoon.
Once again, beautiful run, beautiful vision, but some great blocking downfield. And look at Tyler Newman say, yeah, you know me, I'm in the league. I got a little loot, so we're going to eat good tonight, man. You keep toting that rock right there. And he probably told his brother, look, for every touchdown you got, I got a little handshake. But and it ain't illegal because they're brothers, man. But 13 carries, 74 yards, and Jordan Newman is showing why the coaches were so excited about having him back, man, because he's putting on the show. And look at bro, he's probably, look, they texting him, you see your brother out there taking care of business? Say, yeah, I see him. I'm here hanging with him.
I want to go wherever they go if I'm a student at Kent State tonight.
Go ahead, man. Be my guest. I'm cool. I'm going to sleep. But yeah, they should have a ball tonight. It's homecoming, man. It's great, man. And to be able to have a performance like that with your brother who's here supporting you. And that means a lot, man, to a sibling, because he could be doing anything he wants right now. He's a professional football player. I played in the NFL, and a lot of them dudes go a lot of different places. They go to exotic places when they're off, but he don't want to go to an exotic place. He want to go somewhere where he's with his family, supporting his brother, and his brother is showing how much he appreciates him being here by coming out playing the way he's played.
Well, you could tell the excitement all week long from the interim head coach, Mark Carney, getting a chance to get Newman back on the football field. And that has been demonstrated so far today. Hairston, he goes down. Yet another sack. This time as Jair Wallison. They are teeing off right now on the UMass QB.
And right now, man, you may want to get A.J. Harrison out the ball game as well, too, because Kent State and Coach Valeria are not letting up. And I don't blame them, man. You got to play 60 minutes. As long as you're out there, we're going to continue to play how we play. That's to bring pressure and to be physical and try to take all your confidence.
Hairston with a nice throw that time. Donnie Gray out to the near 40-yard line.
And I say it again, Harrison has made some great throws. Look at the little sidearm, man, little skinny post. And Gray, nice pluckage out of the air.
That one incomplete on the far sidelines. Gray was defended well. .225.
Pass interference. Defense, number 22. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
All right, defended too well by Jair Wallison, apparently.
Correction, it's a spot foul, automatic first down.
Well, Wallison continuing to be aggressive. As Kent State defense continuing to be aggressive.
Hairston needs to get rid of it. Does just in time. That time sends it out of bounds.
When I say it was some pressure on the right side, coming from the right side of this Kent State defense, man, just great swim move by the end and almost ran Hairston down. I like to see that Kent State's defense, and they're still hustling and playing hard and still running to the ball despite having this huge lead.
All right, throw to the near side to McConaughey. Pickup of about 4.
And right now, Kent State is going to give them that. They'll give you the hitches. They want you to throw the ball underneath. They don't want to let you get behind them. Throw the hitch, get you down, and keep this clock running.
This time a handoff to Jawan Price. The well-traveled Price, the grad out of Phoenix, Arizona, New Mexico State, Syracuse, North Texas, and now UMass.
Well-traveled.
That time, Kent State was ready for the run on 4th and 1. And all over that play, Jelani Davis. Boy, he is.
Jelani Davis been raising hell. He had hell raising him a little bit earlier from Coach Carney because he made a bad mistake. But other than that, he has been raising hell in the interior of that defensive line. And that's another huge play coming on a huge 4th down.
So Nolan Good back out there at quarterback. Gonna get a lot of action here in the second half with the score 42-6. That handoff this time to Garcia, gets on the other side of midfield. 1:20 to go.
And you know what? That's such a good, effective run. People at home, that may not look too impressive, but it's 4 yards, man. And as a running back, you want to average at least 4 yards a carry. That's a good average to have, and that was a 4-yard carry. So now it leaves you at 2nd and 6.
Snaps it with 50 to go. He'll keep it this time, try to get to the outside. But UMass was not going to let that happen. But they love a lot of goods, smarts, and athleticism. And all he did at Avon in high school was lead his Eagles in high school to a 16-0 season and their first D2 football state championship.
Well, I can see why. I can see what the coach is seeing him. He's tough. He has some quickness. He just needs some experience, and he's able to get some valuable experience today in a game like this.
Newman in motion. Good. Tries to bounce it to the outside. Took the hit and stops the clock.
That's one thing coach is going to have to coach him up on, because he wants them to stay in bounds, let their clock run. Don't go out of bounds.
All right, so that'll take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Boy, what an afternoon here at Dick Stadium. If you are a Golden Flashes fan, you are loving what you are seeing today. 1 quarter to go. It's MAC football on ESPN. All right, Kent State fans, don't adjust the score or your TV because it is 42-6. So obviously the schedule for Kent State, tough to evaluate them considering they have played up big time. And there's a good reason why. You see those dollar signs and what that means to a program, especially one that is in a bit of a pivot here. After Kearney's, previous head coach that he worked under lost his job in April. And he got sent scrambling, trying to put this thing together. And so they will relish days like these.
No doubt about it, man. But you know what? That's a great cash infusion, man, to play those kind of games to get yourself ready for conference play. You look at the strength of schedule, second in FBS, but the rest of the season is 115th. He's played these tough games and this tough competition, so now his team knows how to deal with adversity, and they got some money, some good money off of dealing with the adversity. So now hopefully they can take some of those tough lessons that they learned against some of those big dog schools and apply them to his conference schedule.
Yeah, Coach said this week all their goals still ahead of them. So just because they had those losses in some very tough venues, they felt that they still got so much out of all that, making those road trips, going on the road, not playing scared, really test the mettle of a football program, and you see what you have. And now you're here in MAC play, and you get a victory today. You're feeling really good.
Because they're ready. When you go in and play games like that, you don't go in expecting to lose. You want to compete, and you want to win. But if you do lose, you kind of understand that, sometimes other teams and other programs just have a lot more dogs than you have. That don't mean you don't have dogs, but they just have a lot more dogs, and they're deeper. So you gain some experience playing against those squads and some money. So now you're ready when you start playing games like this.
Hairston on the comebacker to Donnie Gray was able to slip that ball in
Number
there.
70 of the offense must sit up for one play for losing this helmet.
And I still say, regardless of this game, you look at the score 42-6, but I think A.J. Hairston, because Coach Harris-Semiak said he was waiting on a quarterback to grab this job, I think A.J. Harrison has done that today because he's played a good game.
Has thrown the ball 44 times in this football game. A lot of that dictated by the score, but also they wanted to be aggressive. And they thought they had some opportunities there in the first half. They had a couple of nice drives that led to field goals. So something to build on there, certainly, for an offense that has really had their issues all season, especially at QB.
Yeah, they have. I mean, it's just been, it's just been tough to get anything positive going against this Kent State defense because he's thrown the ball a lot and no touchdown passes just because this Golden Flashes defense has been so stingy.
Yeah, that one broken up by C.J. Young.
We've called his name a lot today, man. He's still in there and he's still playing hard, and that's what you want to see by your best player. C.J. Young has played ball. He's played good from the first snap, and here we are in the blowout in the fourth quarter, and he's still playing hard right now.
3rd and 9. Had some time to set up and throw, and it's incomplete. That time the intended target went down. So it's 4th. We've already seen them go for one of these. This time they will run the punting unit onto the field. And look who's back there. Can he do it again?
The realist.
Already brought a kickoff to the end zone. He'll field this at the 10. Fair catch by Dorelis Clark. Maybe he's tired.
I don't want to get hit, man. He's like, I'm trying to go to the crib, man.
42-6. Kent State will get it again.
Timeout for media.
In a little bit. Drew DeShields back healthy, at least healthier, and has made a bunch of plays. He has 4 touchdown throws. He was limping a little bit in the first half, but he hung in there and just really had command here in the second half.
I mean, he's just showing his toughness. He's thrown them all kinds of ways, wide open, throwing people open, through a tummy tuck touchdown to Mulder. He's just done it all, man. He's just had a great game, and he's shown people that he's more than just a running quarterback. He can do it with his arm as well.
Nolan Good hands that ball off on first down. DeShields 10 of 18, 148 on the day. And the 4 touchdowns, a career high.
Just a great day, man. 10 of 18, 148 yards, 4 touchdowns. For somebody who we didn't even know he was going to play until shortly before the game. So to come out here dealing with the hamstring injury and stood in there, especially on that last touchdown, he stood in there tough because he caught a hard lick, but still was able to stand in there and toss one. So a very impressive day by Mr. Drew DeShields.
Garcia, slippery run. Sheds another would-be tackler and spins his way past the 25-yard line. And look, the way things have been going around these parts, you see 4 touchdowns, you see 42 points. And look, they got off to Schneid. They finally got that elusive victory in the opener against Merrimack. But now you're in conference play. Should have beaten Buffalo, and they've been thinking about that ever since. Now your first crack at another MAC team, and you do this.
And it's on homecoming as well. So that's what makes it even more special, because you got a lot of alums back. You got a lot of boosters here. You got a lot of fans here. You got a lot of people enjoying barbecue and I want to say brews, as in Coca-Cola and Sprite, those kind of brews. And you come out here and brews UMass.
Well, you see that stat, 26 straight games where the Golden Flashes have not been able to beat an FBS opponent. That was what was on the line today. And because of both these programs in transitional mode, this game had been highlighted around the country. The Sickos committee, they were dialed in, making sure that everybody was on notice that history could be achieved today. It was just a matter of which coach was going to be able to do it.
And Mark Carney came out. He had his team ready to play, man. They came out from get-go, and DeRillis Clark setting things off by that opening kickoff, taking the 91 yards for a touchdown. But Mark Carney is trying to show the powers that be that they can take that interim tag off of his name and let him become the head coach of this Golden Flashes squad.
Good. Swings that ball out of the backfield to Garcia. And all week, you know, you can preach about your philosophy, the tenets of the program, the things that you think you could take advantage of. That all goes out the window when on the first play of the game on special teams, you return one to the end zone.
Yeah, and it lets you know that your team and your message has been received by your team, because they didn't come out here patty caking around. They came out ready to play right off the bat, and it was showed with that opening kickoff. See, when you have your teammate bring the opening kickoff back like that to start the game like that, that just raises everybody else's energy level and their confidence level, and they've played high-level football since then. Now, they've made a couple of mistakes, especially some mental mistakes, but for the most part, great offensive game plan, offensive execution, great defensive game plan, defensive execution.
And how about DeRillis Clark doing it all, even in the fourth quarter, covering punts? We'll have the conclusion of this one. Dorelis Clark turning heads, not just here, all over the country. The text I've been getting. All he does, first play of the game, 91 yards to set the tone. His second kickoff return, touchdown of the year. And then how about this, the fake? They use his speed and then 27 yards on the connection.
It's a baller, man. He's coming out there, man, kickoff return, getting gone with it. So then you come back out and you give him to it on the reverse and ask him to throw the ball. Now, you can pass it or you could run it, but Dorelis making the perfect decision to throw it, and you see what he's done, man. He's been Dorelis today.
From up in Northwest Ohio, then he went the JUCO route, and in the opener this year against Merrimack, he goes the distance, 100 yards. Man, you do two of those, and we're not even in the month of November yet. That's pretty special.
It is special, man, because, you know, special players make special plays. I know this sounds like a cliche because it is a cliche, but we're looking at Dorelis Clark, DC 30. Like that, DC 30. DC 30 been dirty today to UMass. Just doing them wrong. But he's going to be able to celebrate homecoming today.
A handoff, that time to Demarion Alberic. Unfortunately for UMass, another injury.
Offensive lineman at that, Anthony, man, they can't afford to lose any more old linemen.
They had two go down earlier today. If you are just joining us, Sullivan Weedman went down early. Mao Glenn the second. And this would be a blow. Good news is he's walking off. But they had the card out earlier for a pair of offensive linemen. But Luke Payton, 6'7", 320. Columbia transfer. I will say this, after hearing head coach Joe Harris-Simiak after their loss against Western Michigan, I'll say you should be tuning in to his thoughts after this one. Because he is outspoken and he is a truth teller about the state of affairs with his program. He knew this year was going to be rough. I don't know if he thought it'd be this rough.
Yeah, you know what he says was on his mind, man. A lot of times people say things and you want to coach a little softer and be nice and say sweet things all the time. But a lot of times people need to hear the truth. A lot of times brutal honesty hurts people's feelings, but sometimes feelings have to be hurt in order to get better. And I'm pretty sure he's going to look at his players and point out everything that they did wrong that they need to improve on. And in order to get better, you have to be able to look in the mirror and have somebody look at you and tell you where you fell short.
Another punt. Clark lets it sail over his head. It's a touchback. And we'll take another look. Kent State here in the fourth quarter, 7:41 to go. All Golden Flashes. $42-6, UMass in a big hole, and it has been a head coach who's been very truthful
issue in the
about his
past
program.
here for me, just looking at it, and I truly believe this. We need to become a hometown, right? Everybody here is from a hometown. There's a connection. There's a community. You care about the place. You'll go above and beyond. I think.
And I understand what Harris Semiak is talking about right there, man. He wants people to come here. He wants them to be here. He don't want them to come here and try to put something on tape, add to their resume to go get a different job somewhere else, as like going to another school. He wants them to be, he wants UMass to be the place they want to be and wants them to stay there. So, and that's the only way you can build a culture. You got to have guys around 2, 3, 4 years, because you can't really build anything if people are constantly coming and going. So he wants to have people that come and wants to stay here and be here and have some pride in his program.
17 years coaching football at the college level. And that is somebody who will tell you things you don't necessarily want to hear. I mean, they had a 2.5-hour film session with the offense following their loss to Western Michigan last week, and they went over in agonizing detail every single play from that game, basically setting the tone that this is the type of details that we need to clean up to be able to be a winning football program.
And people need to be called out, especially in a sport, in a team sport. You have to know what your deficiencies are and what your faults are so you can clean them up, because if you don't know what you need to get better at. And sometimes you need those other set of eyes that's supervising you to show you what you're doing.
Offense, number 35. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Yeah, seeing some new personnel groupings on the field, so a little sloppiness. Now, next week doesn't get any easier for UMass, even though they will get to be at home. They'll take on Buffalo. But after a day like today, I mean, it's going to be going back to the basics once again this week. And so we'll see what they're made of.
You have to. You watch film of the game on Sunday. You come together as a team. You see what it is Sunday or Monday, however they have their week set out. And then you put that past them, and you got to move on to Buffalo, because there's nothing you can do about this but go back and look at it and see where you messed up at and see what you need to do better at. Now you can't linger on because you still have a lot more football season left.
Kent State sends the punting unit onto the field. And it's Charlie Durkin. It's fair, caught at the 35-yard line. So we alluded to the schedule for UMass. Here's a look at the rest of the Mid-American Conference on Saturday, going up to Toledo. And it's good news, bad news situation. Kent State feeling really good about things today. Slight bad news is that Toledo's coming off a tough rivalry loss. So you can imagine they will have their full focus.
But it is what it is, Anthony. Kent State, like, it is what it is, man. We won. Y'all lost. Y'all can be mad. We're going to be happy. But when we meet, we're going to come together and play some football. So who cares about them being sad? I know Kent State doesn't care.
No, they do not. Meanwhile, Brandon Rose took the snap at quarterback for UMass last week. 9 of 17 in the loss in the first half to Western Michigan, and then he got benched. Part of the offensive struggles, and obviously the team had those turnovers. Utah transfer. And it's been a rocky season, to say the least, for Brandon Rose, but getting some reps here at the end of this one.
And it's tough if you've been a starting quarterback and you get benched, and then you come in the next game or whatever and really clean up work. you have to keep yourself focused and not be too down or get depressed on yourself. So Brandon Rose coming in here, still getting an opportunity to get some playing time, because coach could have easily went with someone else, but he's giving him an opportunity to come in and finish this ball game.
You see the numbers, 3rd and 1. He's going to have to try to make the most of these opportunities. They do get the first down.
You know, we've given a lot of props to Coach Valeria, the defensive coordinator for Kent State, but how about Clay Patterson, man, the offensive coordinator? Came out with a game plan, dealing with an injured quarterback. Your injured quarterback still able to call plays that he can be effective and good at, because you know he had to temper his game plan and his playbook a little bit because Drew DeShields, I'm pretty sure it was limited, but still, Clay Patterson coming out here having a great offensive game plan for these Golden Flashes, and they came out here and flashed some brilliance today.
All right, defense is there once again on the inside handoff. Nyland Brown making the stop. 3:15. The clock is ticking. As you see, a bunch of new players on both sides of the ball, both sides of the field, getting in some action here at the end of this one.
But that's Brown trying to keep that defensive standard going today late in this ball game.
It's like UMass going to continue to run the football. Now, we've already seen those injuries earlier today, and just have so much of your conference slate still ahead. As you see, Alberic getting some carries now. Think they're going to be partying tonight, Kent State?
Oh, they're partying right now. Look at Drew DeShields. I see he just came from talking to people in the stands. He's the man today. So, yeah, they're partying right now, man, but they're still engaged. When the offensive players were out there in the huddle and on the field, I still saw Drew DeShields and Jordan Newman still being engaged with the offensive guys who was getting some playing time late in this ball game.
All right, Rose will get a throw. It's deflected and picked off. And still on the move. Can he take it to the house? The interception. Clinton Robinson getting the opportunity.
This is a 2-minute timeout.
And it has just been a deluge from start to finish. Kent State will have the ball one more time. But take a look. The deflection, the good hands, the INT. It's all going Kent State's way today.
That Kent State defense continuing this excellent play. Look at Clinton Robinson saying, it must be the pass right in your face. I catch the tip drill. The tip drill. Takes one and looks like he was going to the house, but Clinton Robinson, the redshirt Frosh.
That's
from
right.
Pittsburgh, PA, coming in, making plays. I see your tip drill. Good job, young fella.
Kent State doing victory formation. A formation, by the way, a season ago, you did not see from them as they went winless. The year before, one win, it was against Central Connecticut State. And you got to go back to 2022.
Wow.
The last time this program could defeat an FBS team, a conference foe, that was Buffalo. But that man, Mark Carney, making his case. He's the interim coach right now. There's one way to eliminate that label. It's games like this.
Yes, it's not only did them winning the game, it's how they won the game and how dominant they've been in all phases of this football game, except the punt phase, because they haven't had to punt the ball too often. But just Mark Carney has his team ready to play, man, and they played tough and rough and focused from the moment the ball kicked off till the last light. Just a very impressive performance, and it's just hard to believe they hadn't won a game against the FBS team since 2022, but they still had this kind of fan support today, so this says a lot about this fan base.
A big part of what Mark Carney wants to do, get the community, get the campus back engaged. And with wins like today, 42-6, that's one way to do exactly that. What a day of football for the Golden Flashes. A little bit of history of their own, and a good night for this program that hasn't had a lot of them in recent history.
It is, man. Great win for them. Homecoming win at that. And the win in dominating fashion, man. Just a beautiful day if you're a Kent State Golden Flash.
The Shields had 4 touchdown throws. They had the incredible theatrics from Darius Clark. And they take it home. Final thought from you, Doc, today.
Just a very impressive football game from Kent State, man. I loved everything I saw from them and what they did and how they came out, regrouping and rebounding and coming out and putting up this kind of performance. And like you said, getting their first win against an FBS team. And like I always like to say when somebody do great, Kent State Golden Flashes, salutes, clap, clap.
For Doc Holliday, I'm Anthony Lima. It's a final 42-6 from here at Dick's Stadium. We'll see you next time you've been watching MAC football on ESPN.